Welcome, everybody. Welcome to BeoTalk 216. Steve is with us because he went on a lovely trip.
Hi,
and
Steve.
We have to know how it went because you spoke to a demigod, so we know what he has to say.
That's right, Henrik.
Yeah, well, that's the other demigod.
Yeah.
He's more like Thor. He just needs a little hammer. Oh, Willie, you're on Facebook. We can actually tell when his birthday is. We need to send him a little hammer. A little BOTF hammer.
I'll sniff it out.
Anyway, Skinny Play still has deals going. Links are in the chat on both Twitch and YouTube. If you buy 2, you get 2 off, but you can also use the promo code that's in there. With the promo code, you get 10% off of one product. So that's fine. Come join our Discord. Links are also down below. And like and subscribe and send us a super chat if you want to keep the show going. Because stuff is expensive like electricity.
Yeah.
So, that's about it. Steve, I hope you had a good week.
Oh, it was amazing. I always love being in Denmark, but, well, this blew my mind. I mean, I landed at the airport at about 9 o'clock Sunday night, expecting to have to go and race. There's a town about 30 kilometres away called Weiler, where the trains go from to Struer.
Yeah, so I went from Weiler.
Yeah, I thought I'd have to get a taxi to Weiler for the last train. Like, no, there's a guy there with a B&O send a car. So, yeah, he's holding up a sign with my name on. It's like, whoa, didn't expect that. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So you got the proper treatment.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just absolutely non-stop, sort of 2 full days in Struer, as well as being with B&O. I've got a friend a few miles away who owns a store, so I went to go and see him, and it turns out, well, let's just say we ended up in the car driving across the Danish countryside to a converted church that's got the world's largest private Bang & Olufsen collection in it.
Sweet.
1,000 items, 100 BeoVisions, 500 BeoLits. It's like, wow. You know, the Struer Museum is amazing, but this is another level. This is about 5 times the size of the Struer Museum. So
why so many of everything?
Because they just love B&O. It started out, this guy's granddad was collecting it and was in the trade, and then his dad, and now he's collecting along with his brother. So, yeah, that's coming. That'll be a few days away because I've got a lot of video footage to edit. But yeah, that was amazing. And also, B&O themselves have just bought a big private collection of, I think, about 200 items. So
I saw that roll up on the Facebook. I think you posted that. That's
right. Yeah. So there's a Hyperbow 5RG steel in there. There's all sorts of amazing stuff. The old wheelbarrow television from 1952. There's one of those.
Nice.
And it goes right up to some of the new stock. There's a load of shavers in there. There's new sort of BSN 9000, Beolab 1 era stuff. Maybe Mango's saying, post the videos today. I'm going to do that. Actually, I meant to say, at the end of tonight's podcast, I'm going to post a link on the chat, which will let everyone who's watching view one of the videos before it goes live, so that you get to say thank you for putting up with all the teasers and everything straight after the podcast. You can go straight into one of the videos that's listed. But yeah, there's been, I'll probably miss stuff here. There's the design concept exhibition in the Innovation Lab at Struer, which is basically all the design models and the prototypes for a lot of the recent products, starting from Explore, going right up to Beolab 90. So we've got some coverage of that. There's the new Beo Home. So they've got a whole suite of rooms there now, including a home cinema. And yeah, gone right through that, videoed that, and explained it all.
Do they have the gateway tied into it? I'm sure they do, probably.
Yeah, it's using the BeoLiving integration, and also it's got Google Voice Assistant as well. So you can go, hey Google, play the turntable, and the Beogram 7000 plays.
I bet you that's Christian's nifty work.
It is, yeah. But I did give them the challenge. There's one thing you can't do. They've got an old Beolink 1000 next to the turntable. And what you can't do is pick up the Beolink 1000 and press the light button and work the lights. So they need to make it not just backwards compatible, but forwards as well. So I suspect next time you visit, Willie, then it will probably have proper integration both ways.
3 years from now.
Yeah.
Even it's gonna be 2032.
Yeah.
Yesterday, looking through some posts, one of the questions that came to my mind, like, I've met you, but how tall is Christian Tier? Like,
Oh, he's tall. So it must be 6'5",
you're not.
6'6".
You're about here to me, but I'm 6'3", so he must be like 6'5", 6'6" or something.
I mean, part of that's camera angle, but yes, he's tall. He's a proper, seriously nice guy as well. You know, you sort of expect CEOs of a major company to be really, sort of hard hitting and get the job done, but no, really friendly. Everybody gets on with him, and he's a proper genuine B&O fan long term. He was telling me about his old Beer Centre 2300 he had in the 1990s.
Nice.
So I mean, yeah, he's got a proper family background with Bang & Olufsen, knowing and loving the brand, not just a case of, I'll take the job.
A new hire, yeah.
Yeah, so really encouraging. He's the first CEO I've spoken to at B&O who actually has a love for the brand that precedes his job. And I think he'll still be a B&O fan.
That's good, but that kind of also explains a bit for the last few years.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's only been there about a year now, hasn't he?
But yeah, he's got some really good visions for the future of where he's taking things. So I feel really enthusiastic about where the brand is going now and how it's being taken forward.
Nice.
Yeah.
So day one, what did you do? Okay, you got picked up from the train station. Yeah. Let's just walk through this all.
Yeah, sure. So got there. In fact, Mickey, have you got my Instagram? Because I did try and do a screen share a bit earlier and it didn't work. I'm just thinking I've probably posted some of these pictures. Let's.
Yeah. I'll get your Instagram up.
Is that right?
Which hotel did you stay in?
Oh, there's only one, the Struer Grand.
That's the one.
Yeah. I love towns where, like, what food shop did you go to? The food shop.
Oh no, we could do all that. So yeah, there's like one hotel in Struer because it's only 20,000 people in the town. People come for B&O, and yeah, you've got Beer Vision 10s in the room. Really, really nice. Beolab 4000s in the breakfast hall, and yeah, you just feel like you're in Bang & Olufsen town. So really good. I met up with Jetta on the Monday morning. She's the lady who arranges all the visits. She's an absolute asset for B&O. She's lovely, and she every detail gets sorted out. Every aspect of the trip. So it's just takes all the stress out of it. I've got my full timetable here of everything that I was due to be doing. So started out, went to Factory 3. So in fact, that's the farm. That's been empty on your picture. That's been empty for a little while, but we'll come back to that. Factory 3 is where the engineer. Oh yeah, I see you just put up the sunset on the first night when I arrived. So really nice. Struer's by the sea, so you've got a harbour there and old ships moored up. But yeah, we went to Factory 3. They're doing the Beogram 4000C refurbishment there. And also they've got a team who are looking at repairs and repairability of products going way, way back, but also the new stuff as well, looking at eclipses and harmonies and ensuring they've got the parts, they've got the capabilities to keep on repairing them.
Quick question. The Beo Remote 1 that you have in your hand, was that custom made for that TV?
Yes.
No, it's an early IR version and it's the hotel version, so it's quite limited in the scope, but it's a standard.
But it's got to be different because like the diamond on the BO4 is P+, P- and step forward and step backwards.
Yes.
On those remotes, right?
Yeah.
So how did you navigate? You can still use the diamond?
You can, however, in the room at the time, you didn't have full TV access. Basically, the only thing that was working was Chromecast. So what you do is just cast from your phone. So
I see. So you just
never
volume control.
did anything, other than just volume control.
I like that they swapped the BeoVision 10s. When I was there, they had BeoVision 1s still.
Yes, they did last time I was there.
Yeah.
So I mean, you probably know I made the cables that go out with the 4000C turntable. So I'd almost sort of forgotten going round, but seeing a stack of the leads I made on the shelf there while they're refurbishing one, I just had to take a photo. So really nice to see that.
I take it this gold is custom?
Yes, they can basically clean and then anodize and dip the aluminium to any colour you want, and they can match that colour to any historic product pretty much. So because instead of putting dye in the dipping tank, it's done with just injection of ink. You can exactly match your colours.
Yeah.
So that was a custom request from a customer. There were other colours being made because obviously at the moment the original 95 Beogram 4000C recreations have been made and sold. These are upgrades. So customer, they're actually not 4000s, as you know. They're Beogram 4002 or 4004. Potentially they can also be 6000s. But the reason it's 4000C is it's just the 4000 series. They felt it would just.
You kind of got the groove worked out on them already.
Wait, so series you write with a C in Denmark?
Well, as in classic, C for classic. But, yeah. But basically,
I don't know. I mean, they're Danish. They could be weird.
Yeah, but they're not too worried about the number. It's really just sort of these are from the 4000 range. Oh, maybe Mango says, can we ask questions? Absolutely, yeah. Please.
By the way, I saw somebody, I forget where it was, I think it was on Discord, saying that your cables somehow in this picture look plastic. But since I have received several of your cables, I can absolutely guarantee you they're not. No. They're way more flexible than anything B&O sells, and it's really nice how flexible it is, because as for cable management, I have to get around quite a few bends, and the B&O cables are quite stiff and annoying to do that with. Yeah. And yours is just like, whoop, and it sort of takes a shape, and it's good.
No, that's good to hear. I mean, we went through in detail when we were specifying the cables for the 4000C originally. We looked at braided, but the issue you have is that particular products like the Balance and the Emerge, which these are adapters to use the Beogram with them, the space in the cable recesses are so small you can't physically put braided cables in there. So this is far more usable. The fitted cable on the Beogram is braided, but that can be more chunky. So this was the version they went for. So and this is the same version I use at home. So that's
also on a personal note, the cable for my mouse is braided, and it looks nice, but as soon as there's dust in there, it's such a pain in the ass to clean. Yeah, like the clear cables like this, it's just you take a wet rag and do that, and you're done in one go. And I mean, personally, I like the braided look, but in terms of keeping it nice, it's not great.
No, I agree. So, there's a few. I came out of Factory 3, went to Bremdale Radio. So if you ever go to Struer, the other side of the coin that you have to see is there's no longer a B&O store in Struer, because obviously everyone who likes B&O works there and gets it for themselves. But what you do is in the next village, just across the causeway, called Bremdale, the guys there have got two stores. One's a regular B&O store, but other hi-fi as well. 50 yards down the road is their classic store. So they've got products going back to 1952, I think.
Oh, that's where we get the mugs from.
So, I've done a full video on
Bremdale
that.
Radio or whatever it's called.
That's right.
Yeah, so I've done a proper tour there, because that you've absolutely got to go there. But get yourself plenty of Danish kroner before you visit, because if you love B&O, you don't come away empty-handed.
Wait, so you were allowed to take something back from Lynn this time?
Yeah, it's work related.
It's work related. I love it.
So,
Nice.
yeah, Mike's asking in the chat, how big was Jeff's TV? I think that was a 75 or an 85. So I think Jeff lives in that room pretty much most of the time, and that's where he's analysing picture and sound. So yeah, that's a serious room. It's proper FBI style, spy style room with that the listening room that Jeff was in for the interview. It's one of these. It's a steel box encased within a steel box on springs. So there are 4 separate seals at the door, and it's completely soundproof, anechoic, and nothing.
You can go mental in there, for God's sakes. Like, it's absolute quiet.
Yeah.
That's the same principle of room that they checked the 90s for final tuning, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. And then the one that's just come up on the screen, that's the virtual reality lab. I think 22 Genelec speakers plus 4 subwoofers in a 3-meter sound sphere. So, I mean, that is amazing. You can, when they say you can use it to test headphones, that doesn't really do it justice. It's amazing. So, Neo, one of the Tom Meisters, had apparently recorded one of his flights from the UK to Denmark, and you can play it back. So you can get the complete sound sphere around you of the babies crying behind you and the pilots.
The most pleasant sound ever. That like, that baby over there.
Yeah, but the reason, that's exactly why. Because then I put on the H95s that are on the rack there, and you hear that you click the noise cancellation on, and just hear everything calm down, and it's brilliant because you realise that they don't just go, well, let's just make these headphones make it quieter. What they're looking at in detail is which bit of this is actually annoying. What's the reason I'm stressed by this sound, and they call them either naive listeners, which is just pick some guy off the street, offer him a cup of tea, and say, "Come and have a listen and tell me what you think," or they get expert listeners, so people like Jeff, and either way find out what works best, and that's how they go through tuning things like the H95s. It's not just a case of, well, let's just make them quiet.
I wonder how that goes. Like, would you like to listen to something? I promise you, this is not a dungeon. You're gonna be okay. Nobody can hear you scream. No. Trust me.
It is weird because they've got this cantilevered door with that sound absorbing fabric on that has to be sort of double folded to close, and it sort of thunks into place, and then it's
snug.
Yeah, you sort of clap your hands and there's silence.
Weird.
But you sit in that sphere, and the other thing they can do is obviously you can do a 22.2 channel surround system. So then I said, well, choose music. So pick some, I think it's Stravinsky or something, and they said, oh, choose a concert hall. Yeah, picked one of they've got a couple of options in Berlin, so I picked a concert hall, and then choose where you'd like to sit. And as you click a button and move from one seat to another, you hear the ambience of the hall change around you, and it's really weird. You close your eyes and all of a sudden you're not in that foam lined box anymore. You're in a huge concert hall, or you press a button, you're in a stadium, and it's exact.
I take it they've actually gone there with those crazy mic setups to do all that.
Yeah.
When did they build this thing? Because it wasn't there in 2016. That must be very recent.
It's very recent. It was used for developing the H95, so it's within the last sort of 3 years or so.
Okay.
Kate Boson, who runs it, she's studied this, I think, at Atlanta University, and she's come over from the States. But yes, absolutely red hot on this. Really switched on in the terms of how our brains work and perceive sound. And it's bizarre. You wouldn't ever think you need this sort of thing developing speakers and headphones until you realise what goes on and you see the effects of it. So, putting on H95s and hearing the way the sound doesn't just get quieter, but becomes less invasive, and it's the way it disappears. but you could still, for example, somebody could sit next to you and you could hold a conversation with them, but that screaming baby is gone on the soundtrack.
Personally, I like that adaptive noise cancelling a lot more than the old style where it just blasts your ears out.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, you're wearing what, H9Is, right?
Yes. Well, sorry, third gens.
Yeah. And they're sort of like just drown out everything that we can think of. And
yes,
I don't know, maybe it's because I'm sensitive to it, but I sort of feel it like in my jaw and whatnot. And it's sort of like, ugh, I don't feel well if I do that for more than an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, like the old noise cancellation headphones?
Yeah.
The H8s? Yeah. I couldn't do the H8s per se. Like those were just the way that they cancel noise was just, to me, it was headache inducing.
Yeah. But the H95s for me solve that. The reason I've got the H9s on at the minute is I'm using them passively. So for long-term listening, I find it just works for me in the workshop. But H95s, they are in another league. They really are good. So yeah, we went through there. Where was it next? Jeff Martin. So went into the big soundproof. So Jeff, you probably saw from the video with Jeff, that room isn't sound treated in the same way. It's got diffusers. So you clap your hands in there, you hear an echo, but it's a very short, controlled echo. So the aim is there. The room it's like a good regular listening room. But then you can crank up the sound as much as you want. Nobody else gets trouble because there are other labs up and down the same corridor. And so we had a good listen to the 90s, and it was always good chatting with Jeff. We've had arguments that have been going on for 10, 15 years that we picked up on again. Didn't get all that on camera because we didn't want to bore you, but we fundamentally disagree on sound design and how loudspeakers should be. And
that's funny.
Yeah, but in a good-natured way, or at least from my side. I hope that's reciprocated. But yeah, it was good to be able to just get Jeff to. I wanted really to get him to put people's minds at rest that, if people say, "Oh, there's too much bass in Beolab 28," no, there isn't. Don't worry, just adjust them to how you want them to be. But to have someone with Jeff's authority and knowledge to explain why that's good.
Yeah, man, that interview was epic. I think it was one of the best interviews so far that he was interviewed. Like,
good.
Other than the unscripted or the scripted ones from the yesteryears of B&O when they explain the lap fives and so on back in the day.
Yeah.
I agree with the sentiment of tune it to how you like it because they're your speakers, but as an owner of 28, I am kind of surprised how unlike any of the other B&O speakers they sound. Yes. Out of the box, I mean by that.
Oh, yeah. But I think if you use them as a pair of stereo listening speakers with everything else switched off, they've got a quality that is in the Mozart products that isn't there in the previous speakers.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to when you listen really quietly, the older speakers didn't lock you into the music in the same way. They're great when you crank the volume up, but the Mozart speakers seem to have the ability, even when you turn it down really quietly, the kids are asleep in the next room, and you still get all the detail.
It's almost like the smart loudness control.
Yes, and I think that's part of the key to it, but it's balancing the rest of the sound to get that so that it all plays right in your room. And once you get that right, that's when they come to life.
I mean, it's not even, to me anyway, my only sort of, I don't know, point of reference or point of critique is that there's so much bass everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest is very B&O, but it's, B&O was not known for their bass ever. No. They can do bass if they are required to, but they're not, like, to me,
they're not Beats by Dr. Dre.
No, but to me, what's telling is that specifically older music, like 70s rock or 60s Beatles even, is that it sounds like a modern day recording on 28s. Not that that's bad per se, it's just, it sounds old on 50s.
Yes, yeah. And I think they do different things. The 50s in particular are very analytical.
Yes.
And you get I suppose, as close as you can get to the original music. Whereas the 28s put a life and a fun and an enjoyment back into the music, for me anyway. That
For
I don't
passive
get
listening,
from-
I think the 28s are better, yes.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I know everyone hates the Emerge, and that's fine. You can be wrong on that, and I'll be on my own and love them. But the thing is, I put them in a room that used to have Beolab 4s, and before that had CX 100s, and I'd sort of wander past and play a bit of music and forget it. But you play two Emerges, nice and quiet, I mean, really quiet, and I find myself stopping and sitting down and listening, and I'm still there half an hour later when I should be going getting things done. And it's over and over again. And so for me, there's something in the sound tuning. I think this active loudness, the fact you get the detail and the depth that's there, that just at low volumes, brings music to life.
One thing that I hated about that whole interview, man, was a total feels bad for my 90s, because I'm sitting there like, and he's explaining all this, I'm like, I should be listening to this on them.
Yes. Oh, yes.
But the time is coming soon for me to unpack them. So hopefully, I'll rewatch this.
At my place?
No. You keep your fucking 50s, dude. Damn you to hell. Selling my 90s ever.
Yeah.
You can give them. That's fine.
Yeah. What's this in the picture?
Well, I know
this is like some sort of a butchered Lab 1, because I can recognize the top of the grill.
Yeah. What else is in it though?
Is there the Beolab 2000s?
2500s, I think. Purple ones.
2500s. Yeah, the 2000s is the link speaker. The 2500s. So what? Do they have the thing on the plastic stand, and then those speakers are powering?
It's basically for testing ice power amps. So it's got the amps are removed from the base of it, and it's just they've got a lead running out, and it's a test. So what do
they need the Lab 1 for?
That's
so the speakers.
You can for the speaker drivers, so you can repair an amp, an ice power amp, plug it straight into that, and hear everything's working. But I just loved it. I mean, if I lived in Denmark, I'd be going to Lars, who runs this section, and going, "Look, give me a job, mate. Give me a job."
I want to make some Franken gear.
Oh yeah, but all the things they're looking at, they're looking at all the issues we know about where it's difficult to get Lab 5 sorted, and there's a guy who's on the case with that. All the things like Beolab 3s, when the ice power amp goes and they can blow the drivers, they're trying to work out ways of re-engineering that. There's so many different things they're looking at. The machinery, the flow soldering and resoldering gear they've got is proper cutting edge. To be able to desolder and resolder upwards of 100 pins surface mount ICs on multi-layer boards. Everyone else is just throwing the boards away, whereas B&O are going, no, you know what, these products matter to people.
Fix them,
make sure they're serviceable. And it's like, wow, right. I admired the brand, but now it's like, well, this is another level. The detail they're going into to make sure that your products will still work in another decade, it's unbelievable.
Maybe stupid question, but were the purple 2500 covers ever sold? I don't think so, right?
There's not a lot out there, but I think I have seen those before.
Maybe that's why they have them there, because they never sold properly.
Yeah.
But they have some obscure stuff in there. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant stuff. I mean, it made me smile talking to some of the technicians in there, because there are a couple of the guys. I think everyone in that section is called Eric. It was just about. But a couple of the Erics I talked to didn't speak any English, but it was brilliant because, sort of we were able to talk most of the components we were talking about. The English names are used. So
ice power.
Shit, they got a red anodized halo. That's cool.
Yes. Oh yeah. And the shape in that's in the BO home as you come in. I'll do the full video in the next few days. But basically you come into this huge living area and you go, hey Google, play the turntable, put the lights on, set different modes obviously. But then you can do, for example, if you're cooking, you can go over to the counter and you can use a section of the counter they've got touch sensors under it, and you can work your music and your TV controls by moving your hands on the counter. So yeah, unbelievable. Just the detail. The home cinema room has got 290s and 450s in it.
Damn.
Yeah, it's wow. It's
Did you sit in it? Like, did they actually play something in there?
Oh, yeah. We had a few minutes going through different tracks and things in there, and sort of film promos. Yeah, really impressive.
That would be a crazy experience.
Yeah. And yeah, went to the Factory 5 when they do the aluminium finishing. That's brilliant. The guy there who is the polishing expert, right? You know, BO Remote 1. I've also thought, yeah, there's some good work going into that, but you wouldn't believe it. The guy, they actually film him on multiple cameras in this room polishing, and he'll take a new product and he'll work out the best way to polish it perfectly. They play back the cameras, then they program. They've got the robotic arm with sort of 3 elbow joints.
Yeah, the cooker machines there.
Yeah, polishes it perfectly, exactly as he did it every time. And then the way
insane.
It holds the BO Remote 1 from inside. It's sort of like a tensioned.
Yeah, by those.
So it never
batteries.
touches the outside. It polishes it, and then it moves around, does this impossible twist, drops it on a stand, which again is inside the remote, lets go of it, and then so that the outside part is never ever touched. It's all held inside. The whole of the outside is polished. Wow, that's. I feel guilty now picking up a BO Remote 1. Like so much
Don't
trouble.
Feel guilty. Feel guilty dropping it.
Yeah, oh no. Yeah, and the picture that's on screen now, that's the private collection that B&O have bought themselves. So that's the one. It's got the Hyperbow 5 RG steel there. There are overture.
Is it the real one? Because there's not many left.
I'm going to come back to
existence.
that one. I'm not answering that in full at the minute. I'm going to open because the one in the
let's get back to it.
Obviously, you can't touch. This one, despite the sign on top that says "Do not touch,"
you touched it.
I was given permission to move the sign and go in. So in the video, I'll go inside. I'll show you everything's in there, all the different parts and whatever. So with all of these, there's a story to them. There's no such thing as a fully original inside and out working one. There are different.
When were these originally made? Like the 50s, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or was it before then?
Was it the Bauhaus era?
6, I believe. 36, 37. There were only about 40 of them made. There are a couple of originals, cases. Some of them were broken for spares, and the spares have resurfaced. And then at the 75th anniversary, some retired B&O craftsmen came back and remade a handful to the original spec.
Wait, so it's the 30s?
Yeah, mid-30s.
It's amazing how modern it still looks for, well, it's nearly 100 years old.
Yeah. Well, in fact, in the video that I'm going to link on the end of the podcast, I'll show you the inspiration for this and why it looks the way it does.
It's inspired from a chair.
Yeah, that's right. So in the Struer Museum, they've got the chair next to it, so you can see it. But yeah,
what's the name of the chair? It's from the Bauhaus.
Yeah, it's Marcel Breuer.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the most uncomfortable chair to sit on, to be honest.
Yeah.
It looks freaking cool, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't ever sit on it. You sit on a different chair and look at that one.
And you look at it. Yeah, that's right. That's where the iPad sits.
There as well. Beer Vision 3s. There are. We've got most of the 1960s and 70s BO Masters, the slide rule BO Masters, the Grand Prix and Capri, the Capri TVs, the Grand Prix radios from the 40s, BeoLits, as in portable BeoLits, things like the BeoLit 39 and BeoLit 40, Master Deluxe radios. If you like your deep classic stuff, it's all in here. A BeoMaster 900 RG radiogram in white. Some lovely things there.
Wow.
real rarities. So that's
I just feel dumb sometimes because my eye immediately goes to the Beolab 2 behind you in that picture.
Yes.
Like, ooh, bass.
But yeah, some brilliant stuff there. So 3 big, serious B&O collections. The official one in the museum, the one that B&O have bought back, and they're going to curate that and find a way to display it properly. And then, as I say, there's the world's largest private B&O collection. That we've got to share that. That's going to take me a little while to get the video together because there's a huge amount there.
Oh man, like there's so much footage and so much to digest, even, right? Because first you want to witness it with your own eyes, and then you still want to video everything as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, to be honest, with that green shaver, that's from the huge collection. I asked the guy Vigo what was his favourite item, what was the most special thing, and this is what he pulled out. And he says, this is the only green shaver B&O ever made.
I was going to say, I've never seen it in green color.
No. I mean, it's almost sort of fabled that there were some that they had a red label that were prototypes at this stage. Some products that have the red label, and then they had to be destroyed. And a couple of people have got red label B&O products here and there around the world, but
it's in the bin.
Like this.
It's gone.
Yeah.
That's funny. Just go there at midnight, pull it out.
Yeah. Yeah, this was unbelievable. I mean, give you an example. Years back, a friend of mine went to South Africa to go, and while he was there, he was going to go and see these penguins that were all on the beaches there. And he spent ages searching around, found a beach with a penguin after a while, and spent a while, fed it, and took some photos, wandered off, and as he's driving home, he just happened to glance out the car window, and there were millions of penguins on the next beach. That's like how I felt going into this collection in the old church. I spent ages in the first room. Oh wow, this is all this 1980s gear. It's wonderful. And then they sort of tapped me on the shoulder, and went, no, this is the first room.
Come over here.
It's like, look along this corridor, and it's 50, 60 yards of just TVs down one side and old radios down the other, and then off every doorway is a different decade, and there are 2 or 3 rooms in each section with a decade there.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and thank you, Christian is here. So yes, you know Vigo. So yes, and in fact you named your son after him. So yes, Vigo is a legend. He's So I'm really, really honoured to be able to share his collection with you in a few days' time. So,
looking forward to that. That's really cool. Yes.
And then the picture of the Beolab 90s sort of unpacked. That's the design concept exhibition, sort of showing the whole design process. So it covers the 90s, it covers the Explore at the other end of the range, and things like Beosound 1. I think what else was in there, but again, I'll piece the videos together for that.
I'm glad that they kept the display of the 90s like that, because that was when I was around, like when they first came out, right? That's how they were showing them, more or less the exploded view, like the position of the drivers and
still
the raw
product.
aluminium.
Yeah.
But it's funny that the raw aluminium, because now it doesn't come like that. It comes from the casting factory. It comes already painted black.
I mean, I kind of like it in this bare aluminium.
It really is cool. Sexy. Mm-hmm. Maybe actually, one day when I don't have a heart anymore, I'll polish my 90s.
Yeah, that's just really nice on the TV as well. You come into the Innovation Lab and there's a welcome for you on screen. So I just had to get a picture of that. But now Christian's here, I ought to just say what I'd said earlier, that in BeO Home, chatting to Henrik there, not our Henrik, but Henrik, who does the demos there. It was brilliant that he could say, hey, Google, play the turntable, but you couldn't pick up the BeoLink 1000, press the light button, and work the lights in the BeO Home. So he's probably
because there's no IR receivers on anything anymore.
Well, it could, I think. I mean, Christian will know better than me, but I think it could be done using data link from the BeO Master 7000 through the BeoLink converter into the BeoLink Intelligence. But
why wouldn't you just put a link directly into the network link converter?
Good question. But yeah, that's just one to let Christian know. Henrik is probably cursing me since I left, asking, can we use the light button to work the lighting?
I would put it in because I don't think the BeoLab Intelligence, of course, doesn't have any inputs other than RG45 and a PoE, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if
Christian says it used to work. Brilliant. So thank you.
Well, your code gave up the ghost, Christian. Fix it.
If it's the same room that that I think or that I remember, there was a 9000 with a biogram. They had a link on the wall.
Right. No, so I think it's all changed now. So it's a.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah, it's a whole new recent build.
Could be as simple as new batteries.
Yeah, or it could even be the traditional fault with the Beolink 1000 where the battery terminals are loose. But yeah, I didn't want to go taking things to bits in the BO home. But yeah, but
bring their
really
toolbox.
Yeah, good to know that sort of detail has been looked at. So yeah, thank you, Christian.
Well, you would have had your new toy tool thing on you, Willie, that you buy off Amazon.
Yeah, I would have had it all.
But then that was about the point where things got really weird in terms of the plan, because originally I knew I was supposed to be going over before COVID. Everything got stalled, and we were chatting through this spring about getting it arranged. And I thought, I'm going to be cheeky. I've been waiting 2 years to come over, so I emailed Christian Tier and said, any chance I could meet you for coffee while I'm in Denmark? Just thinking he's going to go away. But he says, no, that'd be nice. Have a word with my lady who sorts things out, and yeah, we'll do that. So I emailed his secretary, and she says, yeah, no problem. Put you in for a meeting with Christian. You do know he's in Copenhagen all that week, don't you?
Damn it.
No. But I'd already been talking to our Henrik about, let's catch up while I'm there. So I thought, you know what, let's do that. So 4 hours on the train, and I had coffee with Christian Tier in the morning, and then we had a very strange food with Henrik and a drive around Copenhagen in the afternoon.
What did you guys eat?
We did
fish or something.
Yes, fish, very much fish based, and that was the most fun I've ever had on a video camera. I think it was. Yeah, you've got to see his video when it comes out.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't realise he'd got a GoPro filming when we got in the car, so I think I'd let a few things slip that I wish I had.
That's funny.
In fact, he caught. I see he's put the trailer for his video, and I'd literally just got in the car and he drove off, and I started complaining about his Bose stereo, and I videoed it.
That's funny.
Adam Harding Jones asked, what's your favorite modern speaker? Thinking of getting a balance. Well, I think we pretty much all say 50s or 90s.
Yeah,
not really a fair question.
Well, it depends. When you say what's your favorite speaker, how loudly do you play your music? Yeah, how much sound do you need to fill? Because balance, I mean, if you live in a concert hall and you like to invite the world round to dance with you, Beolab 90s. But if you've got say if you're in a room like this that's 3 meters squared, then you could go down to emerge or level and still absolutely love it.
Yeah, 90s. 3x3 90s.
Yeah.
I'll step around them every time I walk in.
Yeah. The balance is superb, and 2 balances, unless you really turn your music up, they're very similar in sound to the 28s. They don't have the same look, but they've not quite got the power, but they've got, at normal listening levels, they've got a very similar sound. Really, really good. So yeah, get a balance, and then when you start to fall in love with the sound, get a second one. Yeah, so yeah, level is brilliant, but the balance is a real step up from the level. And in fact, if you're anywhere near Manchester in the UK, John has got a brilliant setup in the store there where you can hear level, balance, 28s and 50s side by side, and they're literally all together, so you can sit in one space with the stereo field exactly right for all the speakers, and just click back and forth between them. And the biggest step up, I think, is level to balance.
I
The
agree.
level is really good, but that shows you just how good the balance is. That's the one where hearing them side by side, I think you get the biggest boost.
Yeah, I think so. Although 2 levels are also nice, especially if you have them that way, like the speakers behind you.
Oh, brilliant. Adam's saying Manchester's your local store. So, yeah, obviously, you know John,
Nice.
you know the store. Yeah, go and have a
Give
listen.
John a kiss for us.
Yes.
A nice smooshy one, too.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I did the demo at John's store, and, yeah, my view is very much that balance is the place where that's the point in the range where you get the best value and sound compromise. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's the design is very polarizing to a lot of people. I don't mind it so much. Everybody else says IKEA lamp for some reason, but
But what, 50s?
No, balance.
Balance, yeah. But then that's why 28s are so good, because you get true Bang & Olufsen style with that brilliant sound.
I mean, they're hard to
reminds
beat
me
for
more
the
of
money,
Muto
even
design.
now. Sorry?
But it reminds me more of the Muto design than IKEA. Like, that's something that I would always compare it to. Because Muto has it's just very nice, same things, like very simple shapes for cuts and whatever. Yeah, but
I mean, they
I don't
are
know.
getting a bit expensive. If you want another balance, you just missed out on a massive deal on Amazon.
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
Well, it was Amazon UK, I think, but they had them for £1,400 each.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're now €2,500. So that's like, I don't know what it is in pounds, but I think like £2,100 or something.
2,100, yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm going to put my hat on. I didn't get, it doesn't really fit with headphones, but.
Oh,
Willie,
you forgot your question. Did Steve steal a bottle opener?
No, he didn't.
Yes. Why? That's terrible.
I should have done, but I've never. I don't know. Even when B&O say, "Oh, it's the most stolen item in the whole range," it's like,
you could have just said,
"Can
I have it?"
To do that.
You could have just asked if you could have it. I would have let you.
Yeah. I know everybody's supposed to steal a bottle opener, but I just it doesn't feel right. It's just
broke the tradition now.
Anyway,
the interview's over. I'm out.
I've actually been properly given, so yeah. Didn't need
so you did end up with one?
Oh, not from this trip, but no, I've had. I think every time I've visited before, every time I've gone to events, I've been given a bottle opener. So yeah.
Nice.
They should just really
have
mine. Like a bucket there to steal. Like, please steal these.
I took one from the cafeteria. I was raw about it. I actually asked anybody needs to open anything. No. Right in the coat pocket.
Well, in the cafeteria now, in the innovation lab, it's just regular bottle openers. It's not the B&O ones. So maybe they've just they're fed up with people taking.
They got tired of it. It's probably cost them lots.
Yeah, but it's I must admit it's really nice as a YouTuber. I know it's a small channel, but you go in. People don't know you, but you go into the B&O factory and you sit down at lunch, and people come and say hello, and it's just really nice because the B&O staff are B&O enthusiasts, and they actually want to know what's happening. And like we have Christian who comes on here, I just love that. I can't think of any other premium brand where the people who are involved in designing and making it actually love it themselves.
What about the marketing department?
Yeah. I know we joke, we joke about marketing, and obviously they're in Copenhagen generally rather than Struer, and
that explains it.
But I had the same experience there. Sort of after meeting Christian, I went with some friends, sort of from the Copenhagen office, and we had lunch in the buffet in the office there, and I had the same situation with people coming up and saying, "Oh, it's nice to see you. I watched your video." and they do have the same love for the brand. A lot of them are more recent, but yeah, they are genuine B&O fans. There isn't that disconnect that you would expect. And I think the situation is they are genuinely how do I explain this? They at the moment, I think they when you look at B&O's Instagram page, they need to bring people into the brand. They don't need to reassure existing owners and say, hey, you bought that system you bought in the 90s is great. We already know it's great. At the moment, they're tasked with getting people in, getting people to know about what they're doing. And I think in particular, I mean, years back, we're probably all used to, sort of parents and grandparents having B&O, and it was just used to be the thing. But there are people now who haven't always had B&O in the family. So they've got to start from somewhere to actually get them to know about it. So
Joachim says it's Batman watching TV.
Yeah.
It does look like it too.
It could also be a cat, but it could also be Batman.
Well, it's probably a cat because there's a ball of yarn, right, and all that nonsense on the side of it. Yeah, it's Batman.
It's funny though that this sort of Art Deco, but you can tell it's a 65-inch Harmony.
Yes, yeah.
So then it's a cat.
It is a
Batman
cat,
would have had an 88.
Yeah. I think it's a cat on the couch because there's a ball of wool just to the side.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Batman would have had a 77 or an 85 or 88.
No, he has a projector, doesn't he, that projects up onto the clouds.
Well, that's just for the logo.
No, that's
just
the
for
police
branding.
chief.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's just for branding.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, I think the thing I took away from this was I was just amazed that, apart from the attention to detail on everything, was just the fact that everybody who's there, they're not just there because you go, oh, well, it's a job, it's either this or farming. It's like, no, we love this. We absolutely love doing this. In fact, what I've got here, I was talking to a very nice lady called Lenny, who does the engraving. So, for example, like on the Beolab 20s where it says Bang & Olufsen and lights up through it, and she designed the Christmas decorations that they make.
Sweet.
Are they selling them yet or no?
No. And these are aluminium. I've not unpacked them yet, but we've got some H9 headphones. We've got a what have we got in there? I think there's a level. There's a Beosound A1, all made in aluminium.
Harmony.
Oh yeah, Harmony in there, and it's like, whoa, she doesn't just do the aluminium cutting for a day job. She sat down at home one night and thought, it'd be nice to make some decorations. We could hang these on the tree at Christmas. So,
if you're listening, please send that sort of stuff out to dealers.
They do.
Okay, good. Well,
the dealers get it, but not to give to people. So yeah, this is a rarity, and they're going in the drawer until Christmas.
I mean, those sort of trinkets are so old school B&O in a way that pulls you in, just like the miniatures that were available at the time.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's. I kind of want that to make a comeback, because even getting that little of a gift from your dealer or something, if you gave your dealer a good year at Christmas, is just nice. And it's that sort of special attention that makes the whole thing what it is.
Yes. But that's the thing. There's a love there and an enthusiasm for the brand that I thought I was the odd one, the geek who was genuinely loving everything I was seeing. But then you realise the people who work there have got that as well. And that's the same when you go to Copenhagen and the marketing and the media guys are there. They've still got the same enthusiasm.
Maybe a stupid question, but Copenhagen, I take it that's more of an office sort of.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it filled to the brim with everything current as well, or is it more like an office?
It's an office. Yeah. So there's yes, good point, Christian. In fact, yeah. Friend of mine had his 25-year jubilee on the day I was there. So yeah, it's just there are so many people who are long-term workers at B&O that They've sort of worked their way through.
Good, because I hate that modern rotating of like, oh, you're expensive now, go somewhere else. We're firing you.
Yeah, that's not the B&O way at all. So, and the thing that gets me, I made the mistake, I suppose, of saying on the Facebook groups on the Monday night, I think I got 2 hours where there was nothing much doing before I needed to sleep. So I said, oh, if anybody's in Struer, let's meet up at the Glada Pingvin, the Happy Penguin pub. And it was brilliant. We had not like a massive number of people, but there were people who I knew from all different places online where we've chatted, all different forums, came over to have a beer. One guy who I've chatted to for probably the best part of a decade on Beowworld drove up from Germany. So, yeah, you know who you are, thank you. And get me a guided tour around and the area. And then I got a message from a guy saying, hi, I'm Mads. I'm the mayor of Struer. I've got Beolab 5s at home. Can I come and see you? And yeah, of course. So he was brilliant. And he's got a real passion for B&O. So
he's on their payroll.
He's on their payroll. That's why he's got the 5.
No.
Shut the mayor up first, quickly.
But do you know about the Sound Lab?
The Sound Lab.
Yeah.
No.
So basically, one of the old factories that they weren't using has been regenerated, and there's a massive collaboration now with B&O, Samsung, Harman, and several other firms. And they're using this as a sort of like an open space. The Cube is in there, which they still use, and they've got all sorts of sound design and tech facilities that they rent out, and all sorts of firms are coming in, and they're now marketing Struer town as Denmark's City of Sound. So it's a massive campaign, but working alongside B&O, it's meaning that they've got all these facilities now that they're actually generating income and getting people into the town.
Good.
So it's really, really encouraging. And when you realise that the people leading the local government are actually genuine Bang & Olufsen fans, owners and enthusiasts, and people who want to see the brand succeed, I think actually this is something really special. You couple this with having a CEO who is a genuine long-term, like 20-year or so B&O owner, who's got a passion for the brand. This isn't, obviously we joke on here about, sort of we know the foibles and things of the company, but this is a special time. This has got the potential to really change how things go and to change what we see of the company in 3, 4, 5 years' time.
Yeah.
And I think it's
I'm
something
excited for it.
Yeah. We don't get to see this normally, but the buzz of excitement that's there is you really feel it.
But they don't translate it well to the outside. Yeah. They don't translate it to the outside well, I think.
But some of these things, I suppose, they're not that they're secrets, but they're not things that you would ever really think other people would want to know. But I suppose B&O is in my DNA. It's part of who I am, like with a lot of people who work there. And so it's just, to see this in practice and having been there before and seen, sometimes where there wasn't this positive vibe, now feeling it, this is really special.
But aren't they just a bit misunderstanding a lot of their customers then? Because, all 3 of us and most of people in chat want to know all of that. Like that cube you went to. Like, B&O, please put more of that stuff up.
Yeah.
Tell us why you did it, even if it's not related to anything specifically.
Yeah. But that's a conversation I'm continuing with their team. But the analogy that I think that we discussed when I was there was effectively at the moment their Instagram team, their role is shouting out the window and getting people in, get them in with portable speakers, get them in with headphones, get them to know the brand. At the moment, what's also happening is, I suppose, effectively, we're already in the room. We've already bought the products. We already know what they do. And there's already, I suppose, there's you, there's me, there's Henrik, there's John, there's other people doing social media, but we just need a bit of a tie-in. We just need to find a way to make what we do work for the brand. If we can find out I suppose what we don't want is product leaks coming out that mean that then, some new item comes. Yeah, it's exciting, but you leak something that somebody else has been working on for years.
Yeah, but we're not the ones leaking it. It's always them.
And don't worry, that's not. But yeah, it's one of those difficult things, isn't it? We're enthusiastic, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think my aim out of this is to see whether there's something that can be done to take the strength that they've got. They've got some social media experts. Maybe we can improve what we do. That will mean I want them to still be making speakers I want to buy in another 20 or 30 years.
Yes, please.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's what I want to be able to influence.
Well, you already have your kids influence, so that B&O has to stay around so they can buy it.
Yes.
Because they're not going to go to no Bosie after this.
No, oh no.
No, I want them to very much keep on trotting. Well, actually, I want them to be fully successful again. I wish for a time where they could invest, like, I don't know, €1 million into something and not go into massive debt over it.
Yes.
That would be amazing if they were in that situation again.
And things are improving. I mean, the finances are looking strong.
But the products are also improving.
Yeah. Maybe Mango's asking, would I move to Struer? I would. My family wouldn't. But also, it would fundamentally change what I'm doing, because I would go to Lars, who does the classics program, and go and beg for a job, because that would just be so interesting. So that would be the end of social media and cables and stuff. I'd just go there and tinker with old B&O. So yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be a good thing, but
Steve in a dark room with a 60-watt bulb and old stuff, soldering.
Yeah. And I'd be going to join the B&O club at the Struer Museum, who go and repair the stuff after hours. That'd be good.
No, I mean, in terms of marketing and Instagram, I think actually, if I look at a page like theirs, it sort of feels like half of it is decided by committee, and it could do with a bit more, I don't know, a bit more joy. Not that these posts that are, sometimes it feels like they had a meeting about a meeting to have a meeting what to post about a meeting, and it's sort of like, ugh.
Yes, I know what you mean, but there's a professionalism in there for a high-end brand that if you start looking at Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Rolex, Cartier, about how they project their brands, this is very much on point. There's nothing.
But if you compare the B&O Instagram page to the other hi-fi manufacturers, this is much closer to Bose than it is to Bowers and Wilkins.
Oh, exactly. But Bang & Olufsen, I mean, yeah, talking to the converted here, they're not a regular hi-fi brand, and I don't think they see themselves as that. I don't think they. And quite
I agree. I don't see them that way either. But if you were to compare the two pages, they would look much closer to Bose than to Bowers and Wilkins, for instance. And even Bowers and Wilkins has a bunch of like LPs and records and that sort of stuff with things they don't even make, but they just say.
Where's the Bowers and Wilkins fan club? Where's the Bowers and sort of the Bose? Right. Just to answer Dueno, I will never give you news about new products that have not been released. I'm really sorry, but that is, I've got to be absolutely.
You don't have to be sorry, dude. That's just the rules.
Yeah.
We fight against it here on the podcast ourselves. Yeah. So
if I'm under NDA, so non-disclosure agreement, if I know anything about new products, I'm not allowed to talk about them, and that it would be unprofessional of me. I'm not going there. So sorry to be sort of definite, but I do have to say there's a reason for this. I want Bang & Olufsen to thrive, and in order for that to happen, I must ensure that I don't get involved in leaking information about things that they've not yet done or might do one day, because it'll help their competitors. So that's why you're not going to hear me or see me be involved in any discussion on anything that's not yet released. So hope that clarifies. But
yeah, it's fair, man. It's exactly what we are trying to do also.
Yeah. In terms of pricing, I know Mike's mentioned on there, there are, right, maybe Mango, I'm not going to answer it, sorry. But in terms of pricing, yes, it's worth bearing in mind at the moment with everything going on in Europe, the prices of everything is going up. I know we've covered it to death so far in recent weeks, so I won't bore you. But yeah, it was a conversation that's been had, and there are very real reasons for it. And it's, as an owner, yes, it's always frustrating when prices go up, but at the moment, with war in Europe and chip shortages and trying to get production sorted, I can fully see why B&O's prices are changing at the minute, and they're getting in now, getting production planned ahead, whereas I think some companies are trying to just eke out the stock they've got to keep their prices low, and they will have product shortages, whereas B&O are working to try and ensure they keep consistency of supply. So it's not nice, but it is the way of the world at the minute in 2022.
Over on Twitch, Captain Jared basically asked Steve, did you sign an NDA not to talk about any NDA?
Absolutely. Although, well, if I did, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, it's the way. It's. I know it's the one thing everybody says. Did you see some new products? Do you see something amazing? Are you going to show us a video? Can't.
I don't even care.
That was for your eyes and your eyes only.
Yeah.
I personally just wouldn't, even if I had sneak shots. Like, I mean, this is not the way to make anything better.
No.
When I went through in 2016, I looked at a whole bunch of stuff, but I never took a picture of anything at all. Like, I didn't even have a phone with me most of the time. But I looked. I've seen the Horizon before it even wasn't a thing. They showed us the BeoSound 1 before it ever came out. But obviously some people are like, oh my God, but it was more or less, I think, like a week away from being released. So they didn't think there would be much damage.
But this is partially why I want B&O to do like these leak photos like BMW or all the other high-end brands do before a new car or model comes out. I kind of did this the day, but like this, and but this is what I mean, right? Like I posted this the day before the launch of the Halo, and I took a picture of my 50s and TV through the ring of the Halo. So only
you could never tell.
No, but you can see like what's round and aluminium. Because that's absolutely, obviously not my ceiling here.
Lives in a cathedral now.
But like, I'm not saying do exactly this, but do something like this, like misdirect.
Well, they did that with the Harmony.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like you got some weird wood slats. Like, well, what is that?
Yeah, but I suppose because I run a company a lot smaller, obviously, but if I knew that somebody else in a different company had released information about what I was going to do, I can sort of see I suppose my view
about it.
Yeah, is more hard line. I just go, actually, no, I'll just not be part of any discussion about anything that's unreleased because it's, and I do know where you're coming from with that, and we all take our own route through it with B&O's best interest at heart. But my view has always got to be to take personally to sort of.
No, I totally get that, but I want B&O to do it. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean. It's but
like confuse us, make us talk about things that we think could be totally wrong, but I don't know. Anytime there was any sort of leak that was vague enough where nobody could really tell what it was, it always got people excited.
Yes. But they have done that past with good effect. So.
Yes, but generally the B&O marketing was like post 2 days, a picture here and there, and then we forget about it for 2 months before re-referencing it. And it's like, but you have weeks of lead-up time with, I don't know, it could even be
when
text.
you were in Denmark, did you, or when you were walking through the factory, did you ever have a discussion with anybody that regarding a need for a new audio master. Like how B&O sees that. Is there even a like concept, like, you know, revisiting something like a moment per se, or do they just rely
Unfortunately,
strictly
again, that
on?
comes down to 3 letters, NDA.
That's right.
Yeah,
Full
sorry.
circle. But
Anyway.
yeah, no, like not even in a factory, but just like if people were discussing that as a need.
No.
So
I was really pleased
that
that
was
Henrik, I was the most
I just
important.
wondered.
Yeah, most important thing of the trip. I was really concerned Henrik wanted to pick me up in the smart car, but that didn't happen.
Did he?
So we got the Panamera 4.8 GTS. So yeah,
nice.
That really improved things.
That's awesome. So what did you guys do?
Sorry?
What did you guys do with Henrik? Where did you guys go?
We went from Lyngby, where the B&O is based, headed over to Henrik's local B&O store, and we had I won't spoil what happened there, but that involves fish and
it's not surströmming.
No, that's Swedish.
Similar. No, that's Swedish, but the Danes, similar but slightly different.
They like the herring, but they like it to be just barely dead.
That sounds about right. Yeah. So
really
dead herring in a B&O store, and I really don't know how it's going to come out on video, but it was good fun to make. But after that, we headed over to. In fact, Henry took me on a bit of a tour around, but we headed over to the place where he works, which seriously high tech, really really nice. Sort of there's nobody in the studios when we went, so he's really kindly given me a tour around. And,
wait, it isn't all just green screens?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. But there's, but it's amazing seeing all the gear to work the cameras and everything. So proper gadget heaven. So,
it also must be weird to like talk in a green, like imagine everything around you type of thing. So do they have like monitors where they see themselves in what they actually look like on TV? You know, like the weather newscasters, right? Like they have to point at shit, like, you know.
Yeah. They do have the monitors and they see themselves, but because we were in there, the monitors were on, but there was no actual broadcast going on.
Mm-hmm.
I could only see the green screen on the monitors, so I don't know whether a presenter who's going on air sees the superimposed picture on their monitor or sees the green screen. That would be a question for Henrik, I think.
Yeah, let's ask him.
Yeah, but that's an interesting point.
I think they see the overlay because they change the overlay so stuff changes where it is virtually.
Mm. But
so what is real in there? Just the desk?
Oh, no, there's the whole setup. I mean, this is one Henrik understands the setup better than me. But you've got they've got a studio with the whole desk and all the screens behind, and then a separate green screen area. So you've got everything all together. But really, seriously nice setup. And then
he's doing the formula, right? So it's a pretty serious business, I guess. Isn't.
Yeah. But just made me smile on the way out. Leaving Heathrow, it took me 2 hours to get through security, and I paid extra for fast track, and I had hand luggage only. Like people were missing flights if they had to check bags in. It was mad. Coming back, I started my stopwatch. Do you want to have a guess how long it took me to get through security at Copenhagen?
20 minutes?
2 minutes, 42 seconds.
No shit.
Bloody hell.
I was in departures.
Wow.
It's like, I'm here for another 2 hours. What am I meant to do now?
God forbid you fly to Toronto Pearson Airport. It's between 6 to 13 hours later check-ins.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So.
But, just a bit of difference between British and Danish efficiency at the moment.
Not sure it's efficiency versus just not having people.
That and nonsensical policies.
There is that, but then I think the situation at Heathrow, I got the impression they were trying to make a point, the people who were there, and they were trying to work it through as slowly as they could to get the system to fail. So maybe it was just that they were, admittedly, they were understaffed, obviously, and maybe they were stressed after having to do this all day, every day, and fed up with it. But yes, I got the impression that, generally speaking, they wanted the system to fall down so that they could then prove that they're understaffed, which doesn't help you if you've been queuing for 2 hours.
No. Yeah, well, you're the victim of that whole thing, right? That's just what it is when you're standing there for. That's just nonsense.
God, let's not get into politics.
No.
I mean, there's
there's nothing to get into about.
No.
It's just
the day I got to Copenhagen was graduation day, so there's all the teenagers have got their hats on.
Half of Britain goes to Magaluf and stuff like that.
Yeah, but in Copenhagen, they all go. Everyone's hanging out in the cars and cheering, and yeah, it was.
God, you guys always go bonkers when you go to Spain.
Yeah.
But no, it was Danish graduations. In fact, British at the same time. But yeah, the Danes were all sort of celebrating as well.
What do they dress? Do they have the graduation dresses there as well?
No, they have like a white cap, almost like a sailor's cap that they wear. I think you have your name embroidered in the back.
Well, both are weird here because you just wear what you're wearing. It's
it's not as big deal as here, like with the gowns and whatnot. And
no, not at all. It's like
we do the gowns and the black flat hat, mortarboard.
No, I mean, if you wanted to go well dressed, you put on a dress shirt. That's well dressed.
That's well dressed.
You're not well dressed unless you've got suit, tie, waistcoat, and watch chain in the UK. So yeah,
I do love a good watch chain, especially with that pocket here.
Oh yes, yeah.
Makes me want to wear a monocle.
Fudge. Yeah.
Willie, from Discord, I had a question for you regarding NL/ML converters and BeoSound 9000. Because Sean says the 9000 doesn't seem to want to play through the 9000 in option 1 connected to the NL/ML converter. What's the best way to set that up?
Okay, well, hold on a second. Why is he playing 9000? What does he need the converter for?
I think it's
I think that's the way I'd approach it.
If he's going downstream, like let's say he's got network link downstream and the only thing is analog is a 9000, then what I would do is buy a link eye for the NL/ML converter, hook up the master link into the converter, option 0 on the 9000, set the converter to video master and connect to primary as 9000, and then next tab you go to sources and then you just assign. I think they auto assign anyways for CD. Like that only gets convoluted once you put in a BIOS Master 5 with the Net Music Net Radio deal.
So everything is network link, and the only ML device he has is a 9000.
Then do what I did, man. Put the 9000 on the master link into the converter, and then if the 9000, let's say, was put in the zone where it had speakers with it, then connect the speakers also into the NL/ML converter with the link eye. So then that's the system that you have no delays whatsoever throughout anywhere in the house, and the 9000 will work.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, if everything's in one room, you may not need the NL/ML converter. You can probably just use the 9000 as an audio source in one of the NL products and then just directly IR remote it.
Yeah, you can do it that way. Put a shorting pin in for the power link, so then you can keep it in.
Yeah, because that's the thing. The converter is great, but it really its strength is in giving you control across the house. Whereas it's a single room, probably take the converter out in most cases and just put a direct cable in.
If you're going to consume it as CDs, then what I would do is pull the SPDIF out into one of the network link products, and then you still have a control. And I think you would probably end up with the better sound pulling SPDIF signal directly off of a 9000 than going from the 9000 DAC into the ML converter DAC, and then it goes in zeros and ones into whatever other network link product that has another DAC, and then it comes out, and by then, the shoe's been worn 3 times. So.
Yeah. I think, Sean's saying in the chat he'd love to keep the converter. The converter really is, it's fine. It is a useful thing, but sometimes you're adding complexity, and you can control from the halo, but by changing, potentially, if that's the only issue, and you're willing to control the 9000 from an IR remote, then you could have a much simpler functioning system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, personally, if it's a single room setup, I'd take the converter out and just use the 9000 as an audio source into an NL source. And then, the complexity just disappears.
But what if you want to share your CDs throughout the house? Then that's
where use the converter. Or
use the converter. You can't do the halo control with an NLML converter. It doesn't pick it up. Maybe now with the software, but back when I was playing with the halo and I had converter playing into my BeoSound shape speakers, it would not show up. And NLML converters operation, quite honestly, is quite limited even within the app.
Yeah, I mean, the other way to do it is run master link from the 9000 to the other rooms, and then plug the audio source out from Beolink Active to your NL product in room. So that way you don't need the NL converter. You use IR remote to control it from anywhere in the house. It's just another approach. There's no right or wrong, but depending on what you're using most of the time, then it might make it for a simpler system. So
yep.
I'd always see Master Link and Network Link as just being tools to make your music and video easier to control and access. So, if potentially there might be a simpler way.
Maybe it's quite a wall of text, and I haven't fully remembered it all. So just putting in I'll DM you Willie's email address, Sean, if Willie's okay with that, just in case I'm totally misrepresenting what the actual ideas of it all. But if
you want to even Skype call, whatever, we can get together, and at that point, I think that you'll realize what's the best way to do it. Because once I see what your system is, it's really hard to navigate in dark. But when you need help, no problem, dude. We're here for it. So, but if I were to do it, how often do you really listen to the CDs and yada freaking yada? I would just throw it on a converter, man, and then just have it controlled from any room. Then you can just go link CD, boom, it works. I don't know how it works on the Mozart platform, because I know, back in the yesteryears, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but when the Eclipse was around, there was no way of pulling a source. It wasn't supporting the network link.
You can pull the source through, but what you can't do is put the 9000 just as a direct audio source into a GVA Mozart product and then send it on to others with the join.
Yeah, because Google owns the line in.
Yeah. If you're using the NLML converter, you're fine. But if you're just going, I don't know, say you've got a level next to the 9000 and you just cable it in, if it's a non-GVA level, you could then join that music from another, say, a balance in another room. But if it's a GVA level, you can't pull that aux input.
So maybe this is good news, as in you can buy another speaker. And that's actually easier for multi-rooming than an ML converter.
Yeah.
But I was chatting with John actually the other day in Manchester, and we were saying there is an advantage with the GVA version of the products in that you can assign all sorts of things onto those 4 My buttons that you can't do on the non-GVA versions. So, for example, you could have a NAS drive, you could have a DLNA server, and you could pick playlists from those on your level or your balance via Google commands. which you can't
desolder the microphone. Desolder the microphone, Mikey.
Yeah, that still doesn't make me want to buy it. Because she'll still scream at me.
But the thing is with the My Buttons.
Oh, good news.
I need to get my gateway up. Go ahead.
Please pick me. There's been I think I owe Christian a thank you if he's still in the chat, because the one time having GVA Mozart products is a problem is when they do a software update in the night, right? And because then they do a restart and it suddenly goes, the microphone is muted. Just to let you know, you need to turn the microphone on to be able to give a voice command. No, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But you could always obviously go in the app and turn off automatic software updates, and that was fine, except if you stereo paired 2 speakers. Because then if there was the risk that if you turn off the updates, they might be mismatched in software and not work, so it was disabled. Now they've got round it with the new update, so you can actually disable the updates on paired speakers. So thank you, Christian. And if my wife ever meets you, she will thank you as well. We no longer get the little Google voice at 3 in the morning.
But what I was going to say with the My Buttons is that you can't see them go through on the gateway. In the monitor, they don't show up as being pressed, which kind of sucks.
You could use Be a Living Intelligence rather than the gateway, but also put it into the Google ecosystem and then other.
But I'm circumventing the GVA though, right? Yeah. So like it's been sitting there for a month now. I need to just unpack that bloody Be a Living Intelligence and start playing with it. I don't have much time here anyways, so I get a few more days and
you can't leave your mum hanging high and dry.
No, dude, like I had to freaking well, she was in Mexico. So with Nick, we decided, I'm like, I need to finish this, because I put a 3500 in her bathroom and I never really connected it, because when she moved in the winter, you're not going to go in the attic in -30 and try to bend the Cat 7. Like it's going to now you're going to have 2 cables instead. Yeah. So finally it was shitty enough outside that I could go up there and not suffer from a freaking heat stroke, because the attics get ridiculous. So we hooked that all up and plug it in. Right channel's boned. Like, what the hell? Took the speaker downstairs to the basement. I have all the mastering junctions. Plugged it in. Right channel boned. I unplugged the master link from the bus. The one that I plugged in from the bathroom as a new one. Channel comes back in. The PCB board inside the B&O's female RJ45s was faulty inside the connector.
Right. Oh.
So I re-terminated it. Now it all works. It's perfect. So now I have to I'm leaving her the BeoLink gateway, because I'm going to take the Be a Living Intelligence with me. But I need to just program some stuff in here before I leave. And like I said, I don't have many days left.
Yeah, Sean was asking about using a My button as a source selector, but yeah, you're quite right, Mickey. The Mozart, you can't do that. I think ASE you can, but not. I don't know. I don't think you can do it on the NLML converter. I think again.
Sean, that actually is correct. If and the way you get that set up on the My Buttons, I've done it with the Eclipse. Because Eclipse doesn't have it'll join the converter, but it'll never have a CD as a source in the menu that you can select. If you have it joined to the radio to the CD, and then you press the My Button 1, let's say, it will remember that and it'll pull that. It'll start the 9000 through the NLML converter, but it'll only do it through the My Buttons. That's how I circumvented one of the installs when obviously Buddy had a 9000 and the BeoSound 5. So we did, coincidentally, I have a chassis here. So we did all the 4 buttons and sources, and it works to this day. It works flawlessly.
That's the difference between the My Buttons on the Beo Remote 1 and the My Buttons on a level, for example. We're talking different functions there.
This one's properly done. Nice.
Yeah. So this here we're talking the remote, not the product, the My Buttons.
Remote only, yeah. The product itself, well, the Eclipse didn't have it as far as My Buttons on it. Obviously, it has one button to pair the Bluetooth on the bottom. But I've never tried it with I've tried it with the Level, but that was still in the apartment, so that's a few months back now, and the software has changed and has been updated, I think, twice since then on the Level. So I wonder if there maybe have something that is improved, or maybe they're not really even considering it. I guess it's not I don't know if it's a priority. You tell me, Steve. Do they focus in in B&O? Do they focus on the gateway integration?
Not in terms of the gateway, no.
I mean, like the BeoLiving.
Yeah, BeoLiving intelligence is my understanding of the focus, because that seems to have far more capability, and the aim is that people will be using potentially smart assistants, and the NLML converter just doesn't really cope with that. So BeoLiving intelligence is the approach to get people's smart homes working with B&O, rather than assuming that everything will be B&O in the whole house.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the old gateway that you put a couple IP cameras on it and falls on its knees.
Yeah.
So,
but this is a far better solution going forward.
Yes. So. No, I like it. I like the fact that it's actually PoE as well, so you don't have to piss about with the extra power supplies, because the wall warts that real estate gets really expensive in the rack at some point, right? Especially on the wall plugs. So no, I do like it. I don't know if it's not the B&O, in my opinion. I think it's the fault of the dealers that they don't promote it, mostly, I think.
Yeah, but the trouble is, it's quite a specialist side of B&O. Not every dealer understands it, or, to be honest, has enough customers who want that. Yes, certainly looking at some of the areas around the UK, there are some setups where people don't need the complexity and the integration. They really just want a single room setup where they go in, enjoy their music and their TV, and go out, and life is low tech.
I'll contradict the statement a bit, or disagree with you a little bit. I think that the problem is with the dealers, and it's a problem with people that are not being properly educated about this. I have 9 out of 10 of my clients with gateways.
Right.
Everybody is integrated.
Yeah.
Reason why? Because I own it, I live with it, and it goes down to the point where people don't care how much it really costs if they're doing a multi-million-dollar house, because it's $1,000, $2,000. Like, that just washes off. That doesn't exist as a concern. But like, I have a perfect example. Is a lady that absolutely techno dyno. She doesn't like anything, and she bought all B&O, right? But she wants to watch Netflix, and sometimes you get to browse in whatever, or Apple and such. The gateway in her house does one thing. When she presses Netflix on the Lutron's keypad, it tells the Avant to turn on to Roku player. I had custom made a puck table, so the red button becomes a Netflix button. It automatically fires up Netflix. It is bulletproof. And she just picks up the remote and she just goes to her account, and now you can browse. Now you're on your own environment. But that's essentially for one function.
Yeah.
But if it's solved properly and explained properly, it's because a lot of people, when they get over-explained a gateway, I think that they get scared with, like, oh my Lord, like that's way too much tech. Like, I can't possibly fathom to use this. There's no way. But in an environment like in this house, right? The gateway is going to control the light, because I'll have the occupancy sensors, which are in every closet. So when I'll be gone, when she opens the closet in the middle of the day, the lights don't come on, but at night they come on, at certain level, and past certain point at night, they either don't come at all, or they come on like 5% or something, just super dim. Right. But if I were to do that with Lutron, I would have to put 3 different occupancy sensors in a freaking room, which is unrealistic, right? Because now it's just the wall warts all over the ceiling. So that's what the gateway does. And then again, like, it just comes down to, I think, also having technicians that are that they have an understanding thoroughly of the product. And more or less, I think with the gateway, if you're integrating it, I think the biggest thing of understanding that you need to have is the IR infrastructure, because the codes, like, they still talk the same, but now it's over Bluetooth or network. So So they're that's my take. I think that the gateway is little. I think it's the most understated product in their portfolio when
But
it
it
comes to
doesn't
how
suit
much magic.
it doesn't suit everyone's needs. And I think it's one of these things that's geographically based. Like you say, if you've got a lot of customers with multi-million dollar, pound, euro houses, this is part of the integration, especially on new build, that makes everything work. But yeah, if you, I suppose, a regular guy who's just buying a few B&O products and fitting them into an ordinary suburban home, you don't really want that level of integration. All you want to do really is just play your music.
I agree with you on that, but also there is a point of time where people buy this and they have no idea that B&O does it, and they end up with Control 4 because they had no idea. And then it's a suffering succotash because the Control 4, I'm going to offend a lot of people, I think it's an absolute terrible system. It's a terrible system. You never own your program. It sits somewhere on the server. So if that server is down for maintenance, you can't really do anything. Stuff still works, but I've had instances where we were 500 kilometers out on a job and we're sitting in a hotel, and a buddy of mine is like, okay, well, I can program stuff from here. I can just dump it because that's the nice thing, that you can remotely dump the program without physically being present, and so on and so forth. So we crack the beers, he loads up the laptop, opens the software, Control 4, we get on the goofy Wi-Fi, and there's a big middle finger in, sorry, shut down for maintenance. So now you just have to wait till you next day or whatever. So that's one thing that I have a challenge with, especially like if people own B&O and they have no idea that B&O is possible to be controlled via different things. It's easier now because now you have an app, so everything is IP based. But if you come to the yesteryears, like, be mind blown that, oh my god, you can control 9,000 with the freaking phone. How do you do that?
But like Billy's saying in the chat, his dealer wouldn't sell him a BeoLiving Intelligence, and I think that's down to possibly the dealer not really fully understanding the setup. And
over here,
there should be the resources there for the stores to be able to know, and even if they maybe only get an inquiry once a year in their area, they should be able to go and find out about it and come back and be informed and give the customer the right information.
I think that the dealer is an absolute goon for doing that, because if I were to sell you that, I would just sell you the gateway for BeoLiving Intelligence. I wouldn't care. Just, here you go. I guess it's complex to set up. If you grasp it, good for you. If not, then I have a guaranteed service call. Because at some point you're going to give up and you're just going to, okay, listen, guys, cool, I bought this. It's nice, but I just can't program this properly. I can't figure this out. Send somebody over, whatever it costs, I'll just deal with it. So
the people still unaware that it all works. Go look at Henrik's video you did with him about your place and how it's all integrated.
Yes. So it's I blame dealers predominantly. Some dealers have never sold a gateway in Canada in their entire existence because they're scared of it. Literally, I was told that. I'm scared of it. I don't understand it. I'm not selling it.
Fair enough. I mean, I know geographically the requirement for it changes. I mean, here in the UK,
yes,
around London, yes, there are a lot of major league projects, and you'd expect the London stores to be familiar. As you get out into the countryside, there are stores, but they have a very different clientele. So I guess I can pick out particular areas where I think probably no one would ever ask for a gateway or BeoLiving Intelligence.
Surely the metropolitan dealers should know.
Yeah.
And there should be a network of dealers that if somebody comes and asks for it, that you can just call your friend from the store over.
Yeah. And there were a couple of guys in particular on the outskirts of London who were long-term specialists in this. Unfortunately, that store's not there anymore, but I know there are other people who've taken that on. But yeah, I don't think it's the case that every dealer should be expected to be dealing with it all the time. But yeah, maybe something's needed just to get resources so that, if a dealer gets an inquiry for the first time in a year on a BeoLab, you can go and find out and then get the right data.
Not to counter your point, for me here in this continent, we have two stores.
Yeah.
3 if you count the Saskatchewan, little whatever mini-me there. So one is 1,000 kilometers away from me. The other one is 3,500 kilometers away from me. And none of those, no, right? Like for me, like I understand, and you guys have a shop, you know, every 3 blocks there's a B&O store in England, or at least it used to be, right? Like there was way more. Where I would expect that, okay, if you are running a shop in North America, you should have a thorough knowledge of the product because you're representing a European brand, you're on a different continent, and you should also be able to supply everything that that brand offers.
Yes.
That's just that would be my criteria.
You get
to run.
the training, and you know of the B&O home, surely.
Oh yeah. But the thing is, I mean, I suppose I understand where Billy's coming from, but this isn't, you know, this is outside the scope of the regular purchases in some areas. I mean, yes, you'd expect that physically, if there's a balance in the showroom, you'd expect the guy selling it to know it inside out, to be able to show you exactly what it can do. But if you've got a specialist requirement to integrate the lighting and heating and the blinds and the drapes in your home through your speaker, then yes, that's a service B&O can offer, but it's probably not something that guy is going to be asked about every week. So, I suppose all I'm saying is cut them a bit of slack if they don't necessarily have all the gen on it. But
it's not that I don't want to cut not that I don't want to cut them the slack. I'm talking here. Like here, you have 2 shops that are representing and they're on complete extremes of the country. Yeah. I think that those people should, and they're not in the small towns. Like we're talking Vancouver and Montreal.
Fair enough. I mean, I can't talk for Canada, but
right. Like I'm speaking from my point. Like I can't talk for you guys because I understand that, you know, like if you go somewhere in the suburbs, like people are not gonna integrate the hell out of it because it's a different lifestyle altogether. Like you leave the metropolitan for simpler life, so you're not gonna convolute it with all this electronics and nonsense, right? Where in a city of a caliber like Montreal, and you know, like last year they sold 140 stages, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Right. That's a lot.
Nearly one every other day.
Yeah, and for them to never have sold a gateway, just like it's just, to me, it's mind-boggling a little bit.
You'd expect that somebody
would bring it up. I come from the Masterlink gateway, the black box. Remember that? Oh my God, that programming, that was absolutely atrocious, but it worked like a charm.
Yeah.
That being said, if people came to the store, I don't care if they came to listen to headphones or the Form 2s or whatever, I would always show them the integration wall. Because at some point, at somewhere, the spark will start to fire, and they just go, shoot, you know what? And maybe because I saw B&O was able to do that, and I already have this and that, so I can add to that. So that's just my opinion. Like I wish that.
And then you're in their walled garden and you cannot get out of it.
Right.
Yes.
And it's
a good business decision, honestly.
What?
To be for B&O to get people in that walled garden.
Oh, so joking saying I'm muted. Can you?
No.
You're working.
I'm not saying much, but that could be.
Never mind.
Sorry, Joe. Maybe I should talk more.
But that's I don't know. That's my opinion on it. I think that they should train a little more for how little stores we have in here. Like we have this little Holton Renfrew display thing, which they have like the BeoPlay products, right? And a guy comes in there because he was interested about buying the Lab 28s, and the only thing that they could tell him that they come in many boxes. It just comes in many boxes. That's all I can tell you. That sucks.
Yeah, this sounds like an individual issue within a store rather than. This isn't representative of B&O stores that I've seen.
But if you look up, no, I understand that it's not like Harold's, right? But this is if you look up B&O in Calgary, the official representation of Bang & Olufsen brand is that place in that store. Mm-hmm. Sad day for B&O.
North America, though, they need to. Well, they need to do a lot more things than HQ Struer does.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see there's a lot happening in the US. But I don't think that's necessarily come through to Canada yet.
No.
But then by the time it does, you won't be worrying about Canada anyway, I guess.
Not
It will just
for
be a
long.
foreign country to you, and yeah.
Very soon. Very soon.
Battling the hurricanes and the gators.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
So in like 3 months, I need
to the drive.
Like call you Gator Bob or something.
Yeah.
Gator Bob. I'm gonna be Gator Bill. Bill the Gator. Bill Gator. Yeah, it's gonna be a trip. I tell you what.
Yeah.
4,800 kilometers drive.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I'm going after. I was thinking to go like through the July 1st, like the long weekend, but then it's July 4th, right, which is Independence Day on Monday, and there's going to be a lot of drunks on the road, so I'm just going to go July 5 when everybody's passed out.
Especially, I think in Montana, you can still drink and drive as long as you're not drunk. As in, you can literally have a can of beer open.
Yes.
That's insane. Like, that's insane, dude.
Well, there's nobody there.
No.
Fair enough.
Like, if you crash, you're going to hurt a rock.
Yeah.
It's a 3-day survival camp.
Support if you paid for it. So, yeah. For years, we had an American lodger staying with us, and we would celebrate twice. So we'd do Independence Day for her and put on a meal and everything. But we, on July the 3rd, celebrated Dependence Day, the last day of the colonies. And it was a good 3 or 4 years before she got the joke.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun times. I just dread the weather. I think that's gonna be the hardest hit for me.
What? Oh, you're going to the States and you dread the weather?
Oh, it's gonna be a temperature
swing.
swing.
Dude, like I went to Dominican in 2016 in December, which is like there, not a winter, but it's decent, right? Like it's nice. Winter. It's fucking dying over there, bud. I was raining sweat for a full week before like I could even adjust to like, you know, you make 3 steps and I'm just dead. Like it was so hot and humid. So this is gonna be definitely something.
Tell me again, why do you want to live there?
Where, in Florida?
Yeah.
Because it's free. I'll sweat for freedom, bro. That's
you have to pay for aircon.
But
that's everywhere.
Well, I pay for air conditioning here too. I pay for heat. God damn it. And I'd rather, you know, be warm than cold and uncomfortable.
God, if you're ever hot in America, go to Walmart. You'll be cold in like 2 minutes. You get one of those.
I know.
Those popsicle headaches of like, oh God, I ate ice cream, but you didn't actually touch anything. You just walked.
Here it's Shoppers Drug Mart. Shoppers Drug Mart, like they have their like Sub-Zero lives there. I don't know what happens in that store, but it is like the vegetables don't even go bad, for God's sakes. It's so cold in there. It's just brutal, but you know it's good. It's refreshing for like the first 15 steps in, and then you're like, shit, I should have brought a winter jacket in here. But that's like when I first moved to Canada, one of my first jobs, I worked in Superstore and produce. So I got acclimatized to like, you know, 4-degree weather, living in a fridge basically. And now I'm gonna have to acclimatize to living in a freaking pizza oven.
Well, nothing technically will change much. You can still wear shorts everywhere.
Fair enough. I don't like wearing shorts on the jobs, man, because everywhere we go on the job, it's freaking marble floor, hardwood floor, and I only got one set of kneecaps. So I'll be wearing my tack pants. I don't care. I'll die in them.
That's your prerogative. Go do that.
I have a fan actually that I carry with me all the time. A Milwaukee little M18 fan. So that's gonna be constantly with me.
You probably need to get it.
Oh yeah, is that B&O's website?
Yeah, Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Like I don't understand why these are not main photos on their Instagram. Why they're just in the slideshows. Just, I mean, they're seemingly somebody else's, but just put them up and at them.
I think they are. Aren't they photos that people have sent in?
Yeah.
Because I know that this is one thing they've mentioned. They put a call out on Instagram a while ago saying just send us your B&O photos, and
but they end up in the stories.
Nice.
Yeah.
They don't end up on the main page.
No, because I've sent photos in and they've gone in on the stories before, but I'm not enough of an Instagram user to really have sort of followed it through.
Mm-hmm. Still want to get that egg chair.
What?
At
Sorry?
some point of time. That egg chair. The one that used to be shown with the Beolab 3s. Look how strong he is. Yeah. I don't know. I'm considering once I get there to get a Harmony. But now that they put that goofy silver aluminum bezel around the screens, I'm not feeling it anymore as much. For the new
that's
LG
an
panels.
LG thing.
I know, like that's nothing to do with B&O, but it's just kind of feels bad because it just offsets that nice polished aluminum rail that you have around the frame in the wood flats.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan either, but you can still get the G1 panels. There's not really technically much different to them. I mean, or you take a permanent marker out and just go.
They got books stacked on the level. It's insane. You didn't know the bracket was so strong.
Oh, by the way, question. Am I remembering it right that you can add an IRI to a core?
Yes, you can.
Yes. Yeah, and the Eclipse Mark II. Sorry, no, Eclipse Essence Mark II, sorry. Yeah.
However, if you have the core connected to the shape amplifier, you lose the ability to control the IR with the BO4.
Yes. Yeah.
Why is that? I don't understand. It works with the BO Remote 1.
If you've got a single shape amp, you can disable the band on the wall, so up to 4 speakers, and then still use the core that way, because you can set the core so that it's just working as normal rather than as controller of the shape.
I understand that you can have it as a stereo, right?
System, you can't, yeah.
The problem is with that, I have only 4 speakers in my shape.
Yeah.
I plug in the core, I lose the BO4. The only thing that it'll take as a BO4 command is a light in control. So I could still, with the BO time, could trigger via light command my morning sequence instead of just like directly turning on the radio.
Right.
If you factory reset the core, that function never comes back. Once you plug it in, once it's there, it's I don't know what happens. It forever is gone. You can never use a BO4 with it ever again.
Yeah, fully. That's when it's on fully wired PL cable or RJ45 PL cable to the amp, because you got the data interchange. Use a PowerLink Mark III cable with RJ converters. Take the data out. The core never knows that it's got anything special there.
Fudge. That's exactly because it's a fully seated Cat 7 that I'm running through it.
Yeah.
Son of a bastard. So the data does it. But then again, if you unplug the core...
Did you ruin like 3 cores trying to fix this?
But, okay, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you unplug it, right? If you unplug the core and you factory reset it, it should just come back.
It should, but not every... I think you have to go back into the settings sometimes to change some of the things. Factory reset isn't always what it should be.
No, I've noticed that on the 2028s.
But like I said, I've burned through 3 different cores trying to get this working, and I did use. I actually reset factory the bloody amplifier, and I put it only in a stereo mode, right? Then I put the design ID in it, burned that core as well. And then the third one I did, I'm like, you know what? This is getting expensive. So I just left it with the third one with freaking one eye open, or Popeye. So I only have light commands in it from the BO time. So feels bad, but what can you do? Maybe I'll buy another core when I move and start over, and I'll never connect the USB into the core from the. I'll just put the shape back up, and I'll just make it in stereo. Screw the band on the wall, all that nonsense. And then I'll probably still retain the control with the. I don't even care for the BO4. It's more or less the BO time. That's the only thing that matters.
BeoTime that's awesome. I still use that. So
that's what wakes me up every morning.
I want them badly, but it's like not for just an alarm clock anymore, as I really have no IR left here at all anymore.
No, it's not just an alarm clock. It works your lights as well. Get LC2 or Lutron Rainier.
And then don't have all that either.
You need that in your life.
You have no idea how awesome lighting control is till you live with it.
Yeah, you can do my house in Florida once I live there, but
yeah.
You'll see. It's insane.
I'll make you steak or something. I'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So hire a good electrician.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids, before they went to school, sort of when they were little, they'd go around to play with a friend and, to get dark, and they'd pick up the TV remote and be like, I can't get the lights to go on. And the parents would come around and go, I think there's something wrong. Wait, do you use your TV remote for the lights? I'm like, yeah, don't you?
So taking temperature to the kids. Are you sick?
But isn't that actually, coming back to like 15-20 minutes ago, isn't that actually the sales pitch for BeoLink Gateway, BLI, and that sort of thing?
It should be, yeah. It should be. But I think some people don't get the bigger picture in the dealerships. So maybe even when people aren't asking that question, maybe it should be a standard thing that you go, actually, while you're here to buy your A1, why don't you just come and have a quick look at this? And,
that's what I used to do all the time, man. Yeah. Everybody that left the shop knew what the B&O could do when it comes to controlling.
Because I've been into B&O for 35 years, but I still have my mind blown this time going to the factory and just seeing some of the things that they're capable of. Yeah, so how much more, should the dealer be able to do with a few minutes with somebody who's new to the brand?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I kind of agree and disagree with you on the light because there is, and this feels bad also, because if you're in a Bluetooth mode, you can't change the My Buttons function. If you have it in the IR mode, you are able to change the IR's function. And like I have in mind, my bottom two My Buttons are light and control. See? And then you can just go through and then all of your commands are there. So that's doable on the Beo Remote 1, but it's not doable on if you are in what's it called? In a Bluetooth mode. And yes, BO4 was great for that, but I think the BO4 is very primitive when it comes to lighting control versus what this can do, because this has named I think there's 20 commands that you can do on light and 20 on control. And with the BO4, you just have light 1, 2, 3, 1 through 9, and then light go, light stop, light red, white, red, green, and blue, and yellow. And that's it. And you can do, I guess, up and down for dimming, right? Does that work on the LC1, Steve? When you press light and just go up on the diamond?
I don't know. Steve may know, but he was typing.
I was just chatting. Yeah. Where are we? Sorry.
No, with the light commands, like on your LC, can you go up and down with a diamond arrow?
Yes, because I do on my Lutrons, and they're only
like dimming up and down, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's no, it's awesome sauce. I think the gateway, that should be, or the BeoLab intelligence, whatever they want to call it nowadays. I think that they're grossly underselling it, or at least under-explaining it, because it's no harm, no foul if you just get somebody in the shop and you press a few buttons. Ooh, shit! Look at the blinds go up and down. Things happen. Yeah. So, but that's maybe for another talk.
Speaking of the remotes, actually, in terms of their bespoke program, should they put that on the Beo Remote 1, where you can just order custom inserts? Because they don't really. There's sort of third parties that do that, as far as we.
Well, but because they should be able to do it since they're doing the hotel remotes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like maybe
they have the ability. They made that. So I think it should.
Because some of the buttons I almost never use, and I'd rather have something else there.
Text.
For instance, yeah, absolutely.
And I've seen custom etched remotes. That's one of the things they do, and that.
Oh, and the aluminium?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather have more my buttons than text or guide or whatever.
Yeah.
I would like to have the my buttons replaced with light and control, especially like if you are into the BLI deal. Then like why not just X-lay those and leave it as it is? Because
I mean, yeah, if they're doing the whole bespoke program, I understand the chassis can be bespoke, but why not the insert?
Good question. I can certainly ask the question.
Because I'd happily pay some more for that to have the remote literally how I would want it, rather than.
But quite honestly, like the only thing that you're really needing is just the custom engraved buttons. Yeah. Because this is upgradable over Bluetooth, right? So you could just dump the software into it and via Service Tool and just have it now as a.
Also, this is going to sound very, very first world problems, but I would prefer the volume and page up, page down to be switched.
Oh, that would fuck me up if I did that now. Oh my god!
Years of using it, you
so
can't
bad. Yeah, we're too far gone, bro. This is like you can't just like. Okay, the other way for another 11 years. What? Yeah.
No, it's totally fine. I'm just saying I would pay some extra to get that insert.
You get your goofy ass bespoke nonsense, then I'll be changing channels while trying to turn things down at your place. That's
I already am doing that when it's dark here. Like I still haven't like memorized it motor wise like I have with a BO4.
So okay, well you swap it out now, right? Let's say they just like. Heard you out and they sent you a freaking. You're still gonna fuck it up because you're gonna be used to the old one, so you're still gonna be pressing the wrong side.
Probably, but I psych myself out sometimes at night, thinking like, "Oh, I can't see it," or light up buttons. Please make a cinema version. That would be so amazing, where you can see the buttons at night when it's dark. But
well, I think that the LED's gotten efficient enough that I don't think that the battery draw would be that severe. And you really have to, like, you don't have to have 1,000 lumen freaking backlight, right? Like, you're not looking into a supernova, right? Like, but you just need something that, like, vaguely glows, man. Or
but I psych myself out at night sometimes when I can't see, right? And I'm too lazy to go like that with the remote. So I go, wait, is it right or left? And then I end up changing the channel. It's like,
I wonder why they can't make, like, I don't know if the paint is impossible, but like make it glow in the dark. But I think it's just too thin of a font to have the digits glowing. There's 30 likes. There you go, Steve.
So I'm gonna shall I leak my next video then? You ready?
Yes.
Do it.
Yay. Boom. Here it is.
Copy and paste.
In that case, I'm also going to call it because everybody's going to go away and watch your stuff, as they should. So everybody, thank you very much for watching. Go watch Steve's video. Thank you very much, Steve, for joining us. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you for having a great adventure.
Yes.
And everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow on Twitch and on Discord, and all the links are somewhere down below.
Thanks for documenting it all, because that's the hardest part, to be conscious of the fact that you gotta. Okay, I'm looking at all this cool stuff, but I gotta have a camera on too. So.
Yeah, that's right. So there's loads of videos to come. I think I've counted 9 to work on. So yes,
nice. You're gonna get a YouTube plaque soon.
Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe also to Steve's videos, and go buy some cables at soundsheavenly.co.uk or .com. And,
either one.
Yeah, also link down below. See you tomorrow, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.